Hello, everybody. My name's Larry. Welcome to your solar weather update. This is for Sunday, November 27th through the end of Monday, November 28th. First, your A1A. And we keep waiting for those sunspots to come back around to the front side of the sun. You look at 10 o'clock, there is a region there that's coming. Also, one in the southern hemisphere starting to get a little bright there. Probably not going to hit the front face of the sun till Tuesday or Wednesday, most likely Wednesday. And hopefully, our SFIs will start to recover more then, but they're going to keep dropping until we get some more help from the east side of the sun. Here's a little bit of a look at that east limb right there to the left side of that crescent. That's the part we don't see here on Earth. And you can see there's a bright spot there at 10 o'clock and a little bit of brightness coming in at 8 o'clock on the east limb. But the problem, we're losing 3149, 3147, and 3151 by the time the help comes from the east limb. So expect our solar flux indexes to continue to tumble at least for the next 2 to 3 days. Magnetosphere view, this really zooms right in on those sunspot regions and helps us to understand how they move. This is from 2 days ago, and now today you can see as we're starting to lose 3, we will lose 3147 today later on. 3151 and 49 will continue to give us a little bit more of an SFI impact through about tomorrow, late tomorrow night. Then they will go off the west limb. And then we're left with 3152 and hopefully the sunspot region that's coming at 10 o'clock here on the back side of the sun view. Coronal hole map. 30, you got some problems here. 4951, both facing Earth. We have some solar wind from these, but they're not like terrible. We don't have a high solar wind component, and we certainly could because these two are facing Earth. 3 days of solar flare detection gives you an idea of just how the SFIs have kind of slowly dropped. We're below a sea level base, and we're not kicking up there anymore into that sea range until we get some more solar sunspots. We're just going to stay down where we are here below the sea level, and we really need that sea level baseline to bump us into M and X class, flat class solar flares. That helps to bump that solar flux index up, and until we get more of a high baseline, that solar flux index is going to continue to tumble down, although it will be slow. The solar flux index today is 107, only 2 down from yesterday. The smooth sunspot number is at 60, that's up 5. Area number is at 350, that's up 140, but things are looking bad here because we're going to be still dropping solar flux index, and I expect the smooth sunspot number and area number to start dropping by tomorrow. Global D layer absorption, about normal. You're going to lose a lot on 80 meters. There's going to be a little bit, just a short bit on the 40 meter band today, and still some good calls to make during the day based on these conditions. The KP index. This has been a problem over the weekend. We've had high noise floors on the lower bands, and that will continue. Currently, KP4, that's a minor storm when you get to KP4. Real-time solar wind, 488.2 kilometers per second. This is courtesy of Space Weather Now. Great app. It's free. I said Space Weather Now. It's Space Weather Live. It's a free app on your Android or iOS device. You can put it right on, see exactly what the solar metrics are any time of day or night. Convenient for you around the world. Also, Bravo Zulu latitude. This is good news. 7.26 north. This is a high north Bravo Zulu component going towards the Van Allen radiation belt. So the northern hemisphere is getting some good charge today. The problem is it's a very low charge because the solar flux index is starting to get pretty low. G-Day, 3-day geomagnetic forecast. Sorry about that. No G1 storm today as they thought possibly. It's going to be a KP3 or 4 today, down to a 3 on Monday, and then back to a 4 Tuesday. So expect these conditions to be a little loud through Tuesday. QRZ, SFI 107, solar number 56. Look at that A index. It's at 15. We want that to be below 10, and that helps to kind of stabilize the ionosphere. So that's part of what happens when we have an active geomagnetic field. K4 is also part of an active field as well. So noise floors will be high even though we have a good BZ latitude, a decent solar wind. We just need to have more sunspots and a little less radiation from the coronal holes that are facing Earth right now. That's why we're getting that high A index today. So looking here, we've also got some high latitude aurora possibilities. I don't see the aurora really being very low tonight. They're calling for high latitude. That would be about Alaska, the basically Anchorage north. It's not going to go down into the mid part of Canada. EME degree today, very poor. And your HF band conditions really are better than that. Let's take a quick look. And this really illustrates how 10 meters is just not going as far north as it did last week. Right about almost the U.S.-Canadian border, 30 megahertz, right about there, down. So south of there into South America, 10 meters wide open. Head up towards Canada, big swath of 12 meters, then a big swath of the 15-meter band, and then, of course, you get into 17 meters as we head north farther. But right now, good conditions to work amateur radio in your part of the world. If you're in the States, 10 meters works well all the way into South America and definitely in the Pacific. Just heard a nice call from the States into New Zealand, and it was really clear on both ends. So some great conditions right now on the bands. Just take a look at your maximum usable frequencies. A little zooming in here, this shows where the 10-meter band kind of gets a little bit too far north once we hit the Canadian border. If you move this over towards Europe, it's a good illustration about how far it is now in Europe as well. Most of Northern Europe is not getting 10 meters. It's going into the south, but not into the north. So we're getting a little bit of a push of the 10-meter band going south right now in the Northern Hemisphere. Southern Hemisphere looks great. Mid-latitudes, everything about 10-meter band up. You could do well there. And in the Far East, great conditions. You can see how that 10-meter band just starts to push into Asia and then down towards Australia. Certainly, we'll get both the North and South Islands of New Zealand on 10 today, and also Tasmania. Maybe a little bit mid-afternoon to late afternoon, but Tasmania should be getting that as well. So your ham and shortwave forecast for the next couple of days, powered by ICOM. ICOM for the love of ham radio. SFIs to slowly keep dropping all the way into Tuesday. Noise floors, S2 to S3. They should drop tomorrow, S1, S2, and then most likely back up to S2, S3 on Tuesday. Voice bands, Northern Hemisphere, 20, 17, 15, 12, the 10-meter band, 12 and 10, most likely going to be south of about 45 degrees to 50 degrees north in the Northern Hemisphere. Equatorial latitudes, that's tropic to tropic, as well as the Southern Hemisphere gets everything, 20, 17, 15, 12, and 10. It'll go all the way to the southern part of Argentina and Peru. Some great conditions in the Southern Hemisphere to work 10 meters. Noise floors on your amateur radio bands tonight, going to be S2 to S3 on the lower band, so 40, 80, 160. They should drop tomorrow, S1, S2 at times, but then go back up to S2, S3 on Tuesday. So expect some active noise floors the next few days. Nighttime ham band openings 160, 80, 60, 40, 30, best DX, maximum usable frequency and sunset, then work your lower bands till you get to 40 and 80 meters overnight. Shortwave listeners, lowering SFIs S2 to S3 and then dropping S1 to S2 by tomorrow. They will go back up again during the day on Tuesday. Shortwave daytime, there'll be great conditions on 31, 25, 22, 19, 15, and the 13-meter band. Should work well on 15 and 13 worldwide, so some good conditions there. Nighttime shortwave, noise floor is a little loud tonight, S2, S3. They'll drop to S1, S2 tomorrow, and then bounce back up S2 at 3 at times on Tuesday. Nighttime shortwave, 120, 90, 75, and 60, 49, 41, 31, 25, 22. And the 19-meter band open in the Southern Hemisphere about 2.5 hours after sunset. It's nearly summertime in the south, and they'll get some great 19 meters. Also, keep an eye out. You might just get a little bit of the 15-meter band as well after dark in the good old Southern Hemisphere. Folks, I'll do my very best to get a ham radio live show on today. We're going to talk about CQ Worldwide on the CW portion of it today. Also a fun topic question that I hope you enjoy. Wherever you are in the great world of ours, thanks for watching Ham Radio Live. It's my pleasure to do the weather segment. I hope it helps you. Turn your radio on. Keep the headphone volume a little low tonight. Bit loud on the noise floors. Goodbye, everybody.